Hey, welcome back to Powered by 8 Racing YouTube channel. Today is going to be the day that I swap the Fast 102 intake for a Fast 92. Now, this intake is probably the biggest one that you can get from Fast. It's the 102, but that's also a memo ported one. And then this is just a stock Fast 92. And the reason I'm switching this out is I don't have it down here right now. It's upstairs in the loft, but I have an AJ Hartman hood with the waterfall, kind of like the Cobra R's, kind of like the C5 Rs had, and a lot of the GT cars have. I've already rerouted my radiator hoses. You can see I've made room. These used to come diagonally across, and then this one came out a little bit further halfway through. So I've rerouted it to get out of the way, because we're going to eventually build a ducting right here so that the air will be channeled to that. That'll be for a later episode, and probably it's not on the priority list to do. I think that I'll still benefit from the hood being the way that it's shaped if I can get it to work with the intake. Right now I need about, I don't really know, I need about a couple inches of clearance. I know that the Fast 92 is about an inch shorter than the 102. I'm hoping that it gives me what I need in clearance for the hood, but we'll see. And you might ask, why am I going from a 102 to a 92? And I don't think that I'm going to be struggling for horsepower, since I'm going to be detuning the car anyways to meet class requirements for TT2. And even TT1, if I do squeeze in there, I think I'm still going to be limited in my horsepower because of the gearbox and the tires. So I think that I'm going to be fine as far as horsepower goes. I'm not looking for every last horsepower that's going to be required, and I'm not running a blower motor or some turbo motor or anything like that. So I think that I'm going to be fine running a smaller intake to run a better aero hood. So, I mean, I've got both, so I can go back and forth between them if I need to. And but yeah, let's just get started. I'm going to tear the 102 off, and then I'll put the 92 on, bring the hood down, see if it fits, and if it does, we're good. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do.
Powered by 8.
So because this is not going to be obviously a stock intake, mine install is going to be a little bit different than yours. Obviously I don't have a stock harness either, so I'm going to start by just removing the ejector wires. Just pull these guys off, get them out of the way, pull the throttle body off, and that should come out of the way pretty nicely. Now I do have this crossover, this coolant crossover line, and hopefully that doesn't get in the way, and if we got to put the 102 back on, that we're able to, but I think we'll be okay if I remember right when it was installed. Also, my fuel lines are already attached to the intake, and I've got it capped off from when I was doing some gas tank stuff. So I'm not going to address the fuel lines right yet either. What I'm going to do is basically get the intake sat in here. That way I can test the hood. Again, for me, it's pretty simple install. I just have to take off these 4 injector wires. The rest of this stuff is not attached. I do have the back plugged off of the intake, so I don't have to worry about that because we don't run a brake booster anymore. A stock car, you're going to have to be careful because you have a brake booster back here, and you might even have your map sensor on the back side of your intake. My stuff's all on the front, and then I'll show you how I'm going to convert the other one to it if I need to. But I believe that's it. So let me grab the 5mm Allen wrench and my Milwaukee ratchet, and we'll pull that off. Now, you might have to drop your cradle a little bit to get this out. I'm going to try to do it without doing that. If I put it back on, I might have to lower it down. You get really close to the firewall back here, you get close to the cowl, and these 2 back bolts you can't really get out unless you pry them out pretty good, or you pull them up as you pull forward, then you can kind of get them out that way. But that's kind of the trick to get in the, trying to get in the 102 on and off. So just like that, it's loose. And like I said, the back ones I'll just have to lift and pull, and generally I can get the intake off that way. Oh, that one's not off all the way now. It got shifted. Well, that's odd. There we go. All right. So I'm getting hung up on this front hose. There we go. And that's it. So I can pull this out so it doesn't get hung up on the intake. All right, let me come to the other side. You know, one thing I did forget about is the fuel pressure sensor back here is going to be attached to the intake. So I'm going to want to take this off. Well, it's attached to the fuel rails, so. All right, let's see if I can't get this hose. There we go. Let me pull this guy out. Yep, just like that. All right, and there's my fuel pressure. So you can see here the difference in size between the Fast 102 and the Fast 92. They're little, it's not so noticeable here, and it might just be the way that I have it on the cart, but they're substantially bigger. The 102 is substantially bigger. You can see the intake runners are huge and tall compared to the 92, and we're hoping that that will solve the problem. Let me see if I can get a better angle of. You can kind of see it here. Yeah, it's hard to really tell without getting something across there. I am going to use the gaskets when I install it right now just to get the right height, because I want to make sure that even if I'm off by a millimeter, that if the gaskets take up any of that space, then I want them to. So we'll go ahead and put some gaskets in here. Now I will put, if this does work, I'm going to put some heat shield on the bottom. I've always ran that, and I mean, I don't know if it does any good, but hey, they advertise it well, so I believe them. So we'll put these guys in. So basically what I had to do is move this backwards and tilt this up, and I think that'll do it. All this stuff's going to get blocked off, but let's see if that did it for us. Yep. All right. There it goes. Snug as a bug. All right. I don't even think I'm going to cinch that down. I think that it's going to, you know, it's not going to move down much. So let me go upstairs. Let me get the hood. Hopefully it clears, because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. The hood's designed to have a rear mount throttle body. So normally you'd have to cut a hole through here, through your firewall. You run your intake that way. Back of the intake would stop here, and then the waterfall hood would come here. What I'm hoping is that the waterfall hood will come here. I have to notch it out. I'll run my intake tube through it. I still think I'll have a benefit from running that versus running a stock hood. One, weight. Two, aerodynamics. I still think that even with the hose in the way and notching it and not using it exactly as intended, I'll still be in a positive from where I was before. So that's why I'm going to do it. And say I'm wrong, say it's not right, say whatever, I don't care, because that's the way it's going to happen. All right, let me get the hood. Let's throw it on here and let's see what happens. So this is the hood, and as you can see where the waterfall comes down, the throttle body sits right around here, and so I already know I'm going to have to cut this out. probably be something like this right down the middle, and hopefully that's going to be enough for the intake. We'll go through there, not worried about the rest, and then we'll box this out eventually. But right now the idea is to see if this right here will clear the new 92 millimeter. So if you guys haven't felt a real carbon fiber hood, then they don't weigh much. As you can see, I'm just kind of leveraging this over. I had previously cut in some arrow latches, so that's what's kind of on it right now. Got to muscle it around, and what I'm noticing right now is I don't want to say it yet, but I think it's clear. Ooh, it's not. It's hitting. Yep. Well, you're here to witness my tragedy. Unless I can bring this pin up, but which I can because that's still kind of low. I can't tell. How much is it hidden by? Where? You get a flashlight. So it's hitting this right here. If this wasn't notched down right here, it would clear this. So that's where it's hitting. It's right in here. All right, few disclaimers. First disclaimer is I'm not a body guy. I don't do body work, and I don't have the patience for it. Anyways, second disclaimer is I think I talked about it early on in the series that this fender liner came unbonded from the frame, and I tried to get it back in its precise location, but as we know, that fender liner is what lines this fender up, what lines the bumper up, and it's really needs to be perfect if you want everything else to be perfect. So while AJ's hood is probably asymmetrical in every attribute, my car is no longer going to be that way. With that, I've had to make it fit. Even my stock hood, I had to make fit properly, but it never lines up perfectly because of this fender liner having been popped off. So I did get the hood to fit. I do have some more work I need to do to it. What I need to do is I need to trim along here, and I need to trim this out, maybe just ever so slightly, maybe like 1/8 of an inch, no more than 1/4 of an inch off, and that'll allow this to fit perfectly. What I also had to do because of that is this headlight bucket, it seemed to sag a lot more into the headlight area. And so I don't know what others have done for this, but I have some of those, and I'm sorry guys, I want to call them fusion, but I'll find out what these brackets are, who made these. And but basically these were a headlight delete kit, and it allows you to use the stock headlights. So I put these back in and I bent this up, and now I'm using this as the support to keep the headlights up. So or this area up anyways. So once I pulled that side up, it seemed to flex this side up, but if I was to take this out from that side, it'll allow this to bow back down, and this is actually almost flush. But I'm going to go ahead and use this one also to help support that there. And then I think I need to get some sort of material here, and that'll bring this up here in the middle. Again, I'm not a body guy, so there's probably some tricks and stuff that body people know to shim here or shim there or do this or do that. I guess I could just take it to a body shop and have them fit it for me, but what fun is that? So anyways, this is what I'm doing. It's going to go fast. I don't care. I mean, we could have put a GoPro right here, so what's this going to do to that area anyways if I don't touch it? But anyways, I think it fits here just fine. Again, I'm going to cut this out right here. That's where the throttle body is going to come through, and then the intake tube. So, you know, I mean, all right, let me catch you up a little bit of what I have going on now. Hood fits good. I like the alignment of everything. What I want to work on now is the hole. And so what I'm going to have happen is there will be a intake tube that comes out right here, comes over here, down, and then tucks into this front area here. So I need to cut a hole for the throttle body and the intake tube, because this is going to go somewhat like this. Again, I know it's not the most perfect way of doing it, but it's the easiest way for my application, because there's no way I'm going to flip my intake. All right, I know that's not the most ideal, but anyways, that's my center line. This is the center line. This is not the center line. This is the center line here. I've measured it out in multiple places. That's pretty much centered. What I need to do now is cut a hole. So I'm trying to determine where I want my hole to cut, and then I'm going to slice down and take this big arch area out of the hood. That way the hood can come on and it will slip over the intake tube. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get that lined up so I know where to cut exactly. I'm not really sure yet where I want to make that hole. I can always make the hole bigger, but if I can nail it right off the start, then I'll have that nice clean arch at the top that I can use a hole saw for, and then the rest can just be straight cuts. So as long as I can nail that one from the start, then the rest will be pretty easy. So I'm going to work on that. So pop the hood off again. Just undo all of our All right, hopefully this is the last test fit and we'll be good for now. Yeah. All right. So it's nice and even. I don't think I could have asked for better than that. So now you'll see right there, I think it's perfectly even. If anything, I might have to bring the hole up a little bit, but let's grab the hose and see what happens. This is pretty dope for me anyways. I like it. This is the way it's going to be for a long time because of the complexities I would have with flipping my intake. Obviously it's not done. I'll do a second video on how I box out the radiator, but let me leave you with this. That's how it's going to be. I'm going to readdress that IAT sensor. I'm going to flip it down to the bottom. It gets in the way and it makes it hard to put the hood on. But yeah, that's how it's going to be. It's going to look pretty freaking nice. Once I get everything boxed out, then you'll see that all of that black area that you can see hoses and the inside of the engine bay will be sheet metal, aluminum. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for part 2 of it, where I will box it out and I will get the intake all buttoned up and show you how I did that. Until next time, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you later.
Powered by Ocho.